Senator Elissa Slotkin of Michigan seems like she's really trying to appeal to a different crowd now, saying there needs to be a gutting out of Democratic leadership. So I want you guys to take a listen to this, and then I want you to hear some statements she's made on Israel. She was previously interviewed on Breaking Point, so I want you guys to take a listen to this, and then let's talk about it.
And for me, this is why I'm a big believer in just new leadership, significant change. The old models do not work for people, and that includes in the Democratic Party.
When you say new leadership,
yeah,
what do you mean by that? You're not just talking about Trump being out of office. You're talking about new leadership within the Democratic Party as well, are you not?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think since Biden was in, like, we need new leadership in the White House, the House, and the Senate, and on both sides of the aisle. That includes Democrats. Okay. And I think we have literally found ourselves in a situation where we just don't have people who understand the moment and understand what leadership means. That you chart a course and you explain to people, how are we going to get from this dark moment to a better place? Instead of just circular firing squad,
right.
Dem on dem violence. No one is talking about what they want to do, and that to me is a fundamental of leadership.
So she is going to start talking about Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer here, and I'm going to play that here in a moment. She's one of the first senators to really just state this. I don't want to say one of the first, because there has been some senators that have been doing amazing shifts recently. Senator Chris Van Hollen of Maryland, I have a lot of respect for that guy. She's going to talk about Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, and there's another clip here where on CNN they asked Hakeem Jeffries directly his stance on what she said. So let's play that part, and then I have a lot more to add to it.
Now, Senator Slotkin, you do know. I want to make sure that I give you cover here. Let everybody know. Let me make sure you're clear. When you talk about new leadership, well, Hakeem Jeffries is the Democratic leader in the House, and Chuck Schumer is the Democratic leader in the Senate. When you talk about new leadership, that would mean they're out in favor of somebody else. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying if people can't understand that the game has changed, this is you. You're the sports guy. If people can't understand that the game has fundamentally changed and they can't adapt, then they need to let others lead.
So, it makes obvious sense. I'm pretty intrigued that it's coming from her. The reason I'm intrigued it's coming from her, I think she has shifted a little bit. First off, I have to say, I don't trust any politician flat out. I think we're all in agreement on that. There are politicians where after October 7th, because I look at their voting record. So when I tell you guys I think they shifted, I look at the data. I actually look and I'm like, okay, they went from being 100% pro-Israel to 60% pro-Israel, or okay, maybe some of them went from being 100% pro-Israel to every single policy from that point forward was actually pro-Palestine. Chris Van Hollen, Ro Khanna, that actually happened to them. There are some politicians that do that. With Elissa Slotkin, it's been the same thing. There actually has been a shift. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys her voting record. And then I'll explain what that means. And I think, honestly, I really do think that one interview she had on Breaking Points where Crystal Ball just did an amazing job asking her question after question. I really think that was the moment for her that shifted her stance. And don't worry, I'm going to show you guys that interview. I'm going to show you guys that interview as well. So if you go to votelog.org and you search up Elissa, you can go here. Also, I don't think people know that, when you search up a name, it starts to show you the only people that are it highlights slots, and then you can go here and you can click Senate on this thing, and it'll show you the Senate seats. So Michigan here she is. If you go ahead and click on her, very staunchly pro-Israel. We can go to her issue funding. $280,000 from our Republican Jewish Coalition Victory Fund, which is interesting because she's a Democrat. Spent against her, sorry. So the RJC spent money against her. Pro-Israel America spent money in support of her. AIPAC spent money in support of her. If we go to her votes and bills, here's the thing. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. So she's staunchly in support of Israel. Look at all these co-sponsorships. And then all of a sudden, around here is when the interview with Crystal Ball happened. I really do think it was a defining moment, and she shifted. Now, this one, Senate Bill 4576, I listed as pro-Israel. That was my choice to list it, and it's strengthening federal efforts to counter anti-Semitism in the United States and to protect the Jewish community. First off, I'm fully in support of protecting the Jewish community. I'm all in support of that, countering real anti-Semitism and hatred. However, then I looked at the bill, and this is why, and I have a little thing that explains that here. I looked at the bill, and there's a lot of politicians that are doing this, where if you click the Y button right here, I state that they use the IRA definition in that bill. So if you go to that actual legislation, she included the IRA definition of anti-Semitism. And if you go to my methodology, I state that if you state that criticism of Israel or calling Israel an apartheid state or calling Israel similar to Nazi Germany is anti-Semitic, then I consider that a pro-Israel policy. And you can go to my methodology. You can actually go straight to the section here. You can go to my methodology and you can see I have a very, very refined, honestly, like a scientific section on my methodology page regarding the IRA definition here. Regardless, though, put that aside, she has shown that if you go to my persuadability calculator, she has shown that she can be persuadable on specific bills. So that is something that changed after the Crystal Ball interview. Still staunchly pro-Israel, but look at this. This is what I want to show you guys. So here, this is proposed for this is where she shifted. And this one is proposed foreign military sale to government of Israel of certain defense articles. It sounds like it's giving Israel weapons, but it's actually a pro-Palestine bill in that sense. Bernie Sanders put it forward. It actually restricts Israel from getting weapons, both offensively and defensively. She initially said no in April. Then July 30th, she decided not to vote at all. And then she went from deciding not to vote to actually voting in support of restricting in April of 2026. So she shifted. Now, it took her 2 damn years, which is, wild to me that it took that long. There's some politicians that still don't shift up until now. This is also regarding defense weapons as well. And see, she shifted. So that is something that happened new. Now, I know we're asking for breadcrumbs. I'm just showing you her voting record. I'm not putting my opinion on that. I'm just showing you this is what happened. So with that being said, now I want you guys to listen to what Hakeem Jeffries had to say after she stated that, and then I'm going to go ahead and show you the Crystal Ball interview.
Then they need to let others lead.
So what do you say to Slotkin about that? Are you the right person to continue to lead the Democrats in the House? And if, in fact, the Democrats become the majority in the House, are you ready? You think you're likely to be elected Speaker?
Well, listen, what's in front of us right now is we got to do everything to take back control of the House of Representatives. That's actually the moment that we're in. And House Democrats have been very clear that we are going to continue to relentlessly focus on making our case to the American people, drive down the high cost of living, fix our broken healthcare system, and clean up corruption. I have no idea what Elissa Slotkin was talking about.
So here's what I have to say. I'm really starting to get annoyed. Why is it him that's that's destined to be Speaker of the House? Why can't we put somebody? Let's do Ro Khanna. This is what I say. Ro Khanna in the House so far, one of my top favorites. Chris Van Hollen in the Senate so far, one of my top favorites. They've been making real shifts. I think they're perfectly representative of where I think moderate Democrats could be. Because if you look at their policies when it comes to everything else, I think they fit a lot within the moderate Democrat stance that all of these other Israeli shills are. And then if you just look at their stance on Palestine, I think they're very symbolic of what is reflective and what would make actually the vast majority of these Democratic voters actually satisfied. Now, here's the thing that I wanted to tell you guys. I said that, first off, Elissa Slotkin, by the way, very heavily, she's involved in intelligence, CIA. She went to Iraq 3 times, specifically intelligence regarding Iraqi militias or just militias in the region. So Hezbollah, Al-Qaeda, she's very heavily involved. She was very heavily involved in that sort of realm. She's part of, if you go, by the way, her intelligence, she's part of the armed services. She has a leadership role in the Armed Services Committee. So just so you guys can kind of understand her background, that's who she is. Let's keep that in mind. Now, this is when I said she shifted. Here is the Crystal Ball interview. This is a long one, so I'm going to play clip by clip and we'll talk about it.